Brett.
Hi YouTubers, Crud Big Rig here again, and I figured I'd show you guys a basic breakdown and quick cleaning of a 1911. I had been doing a stress test on this system, torture test if you will, with frog lube. Now a lot of guys say, you know, it's just a gimmick, but we'll see what it does. I mean, it's been doing pretty well with my AR-15. There's very little carbon that'll actually stick to the rifle anymore, even on the bolt tail. So I figured I'd start using it on a classic here, the 1911, since it's supposedly very finicky. This is definitely not a match grade pistol, but the slide and frame are a very, very tight fit. So there you have it. First, obviously, your safety check. Make sure the chamber is clear, which I see it is. Then your mag well is clear. As you can see here, it's nice and sloppy. I've put a good 300 rounds or so through it in a single evening. Next, you want to push down the plunger here. Kimber came with this very, very nice plastic disassembly tool. I like it just because of ease of use, but you can do it with your finger as well. You want to do, slowly let that plunger out. Now my spring's still a little bit tight, but it pulls out just fine. Then you want to rotate that barrel bushing the opposite direction and lift up. Next, make sure that the hammer is cocked, and then pull back to the second serration. You push the other side of the slide release, and the slide release just pops right out. Then your entire slide comes out. Now this was kind of just free floating in there. Some guys like to keep the spring guide attached to the spring itself, but it doesn't really matter. You can see here it's pretty gunky. I was kind of expecting this much crap to be in there, but not this much. Now if you look there, that's a pretty good selling point for the frog lube. It just kind of glides right off. In fact, let me get a towel here. Kind of just get some of this internal gunk out just with one single swoop. Get all the residue out. Now this stuff, it's a little bit longer for prepping the gun for the first time because you have to degrease it, because this isn't really a real oil. This is it is a lubricant, but it's not your traditional petroleum based oil, which is what you really want to get off the gun when you're doing your initial cleanup. Now you want to make sure you get in this cut here. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to get in the very tip of the groove. Just kind of push forward and up. There you go. I don't really prefer any brushes of the sort because it's just more stuff to get when it comes to cleaning. Paper towel is just fine for 99.9% of your application. Alright, so that's the whole dust guard is clean. There's a little bit of schmutz up in the very corner, but it's not too bad. Make sure you get up underneath the safety, and that's just me being anal retentive. That has nothing to do particularly with the gun. Alright, that is pretty much tip-top. Now some guys will actually, on their standard cleanings, go super anal, and they'll actually take the grips off and clean everything out underneath it. Now for the slide, what you want to do is first wipe down the barrel. I generally speaking just put some oil, or in this case the frog lube, through the barrel and just leave it. I already did that prior to this, and that's really just to take some of the carbon out, because carbon's really what pits a barrel. Copper doesn't. In fact, copper is quite harmless and actually smooths out the imperfections in the barrel. So you'll notice if you shoot more and you just take the carbon out, you'll notice better accuracy, especially with precision rifles. Now some guys will say, you know, oh, I've been doing it this way for 200 years. Well, that's nice, but it doesn't really work for me. In fact, I use the brush for the barrel, and I go both ways in and out just to make sure I get all the carbon. That cleaned up pretty nicely. It's nice and shiny. And now we got the dirty part. The slide gets a lot of gunk underneath these raceways. You really gotta just scrape it to get all that crap out. Now this will be a good indicator of how good the frog lube is. This should just come right off, because it's actually been sitting for a few days. Look at that. It came off in one clean swipe. Okay, I'm definitely starting to become a believer of this product. Get underneath here. And get up under the front sight. Now to get the deep crevices, use a toothbrush. Put some of that frog lube in there and just scrub away. This will get whatever crevices that the paper towel couldn't quite get into, including these pieces in here. I do believe that has something to do with the lockup of the pistol itself, but another thing that's really great about this product is that a lot of these cleaners, Hops number 9 for a good example, if you clean indoors in a very tight space, it can be a big issue on ventilation, because you'll be high as a kite by the time you clean your gun off. And I don't know about you, but being high while cleaning firearms doesn't exactly sound the safest of sports. And this has that nice mini smell to it, which is a very nice and welcoming change from the Hops 9 solvent. Starting to get that gook out. Okay, so we pretty much got everything out. Just want to wipe down the plunger and scrape that slide release a little bit with the frog lube and wipe it off. A nice part about this product too is the paste form. When you heat up the gun to apply it, it looks like chapstick and has about the same consistency of it, and it just melts onto the barrel. And what you do is you let it dry after the gun's cooled off, then you wipe out the excess. And what's neat about it is it actually impregnates the entire metal pores of the gun, and when it gets hot, it solidifies and allows the gun to be run wet. The pistol looks like it's dry until you start firing it, get it hot, and instantly it starts lubricating it again. This is my actual first treatment of the gun. They say it gets better as you treat it more and more, and so far I absolutely love it. The only issue I've had with the 1911 and that 300 rounds is I had one issue where it wouldn't return to battery, and the slide was only pushed back maybe 1 or 2 millimeters. All you had to do is push the slide forward and it chambered just fine. Other than that, I had no issues. And that could be anything from me limp wristing it to, well, just a cartridge that wasn't loaded with a full powder. So, alright, we got everything nice and wiped down. It has just a little bit of a layer of the frog lube on it. Now we'll put everything back together. This is the tricky part because this doesn't want to always stay straight up. Sometimes you have to coax it. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit more frog lube right there. Just rub it in. The other great part about this stuff is it seems to stick wherever you actually put it. So then you make sure you put that little U shape on the bottom of the barrel so it supports it. Okay, now put a little bit of frog lube here. That's my own personal preference, to actually put the lubricant in the hammer area. Just make sure there's a nice light coating all the way around, which there is now. Put your raceways together like so, and then the trickiest part to the 1911 seems to always be making sure that little barrel link gets lined up in the hole notch here, which, ta-da, seems to have done so. And a lot of guys say, you know, push straight down on the slide release. I've noticed the actual best results is where you get that quote-unquote idiot scratch, but it works just fine for me. It's a combat pistol. It's not made to look pretty, although 1911s are very pretty guns. I don't consider that a selling point. Then you want to get a little bit of lubrication in here around bushing outside, and again you put the barrel support bushing in, making sure that notch is pointed down towards the recoil spring or return spring, depends on what side of the pond you are. Put it all the way to the right side of the gun. Put that bushing in, push straight down, push forward to lock it in. Now again, you've got this nice handy dandy toy to make it a little bit easier on you. There we go, it's fully assembled. Now put a little bit of lubricant on the actual outside of the chamber. Lock it back. Put a little bit on the barrel. And that's it, really. Want to get cycled a few times. And there you go. It's a quick down and dirty cleaning of the 1911. Hope you like it.